Let's
My
hear it.
my this is you said it, Mike. I think
Tyler
it's gonna
Booker.
be
Yeah,
a
yeah.
pick for pick right here. I want Tyler Booker preferably over Will Campbell because of, as you mentioned, if Will doesn't work at left tackle, he's going to be a left guard. I don't like him in the run game as much as I love Tyler Booker. And if there's one thing I know we want to do with Ben Johnson, it's we want to run the ball down people's throats. I'm already having dreams of Trey Smith and Tyler Booker at the guard spot, maybe even Dahlman. And we're killing shit if that happens. I'm telling you right now. I understand Will Campbell, the pick,
Yeah.
but to me, it would have been Booker, and I will be like Pat. I'm gonna jump through your window like Jeff Hardy if San Francisco takes Tyler Booker a pick after us, and this is how it goes. I will be jumping through your window like Jeff Hardy. I'm a huge fan of Tyler. I think he's a elite left guard, 10-year guy, 8-year guy. I think with San Francisco losing Aaron Banks to free agency likely this year, you plug him next to Trent Williams, uh, Dominic Pooney, terrific rookie at right guard. I think San Francisco is right back in the mix. I like Tyler Booker here. And I didn't even get a damn roll tide.
Roll Tide for Tyler Booker. This Kalen DeBoer era of Alabama it's been tough to be enthusiastic about the Roll Tides when you're getting washed against Oklahoma. These guys have to earn it for themselves. So Tyler Booker, good luck to you. I'm rooting for you in the NFL, especially if you're on the Bears. But I just think Will Campbell's the better pick at this point. I'll still give him a Roll Tide. But I think with this next pick, I mean, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Do we all kind of know where this is going, where Jerry's going to want to go? I think Ashton Jeanty is made for Dallas. This is definitely the pick. If he's there at 12, I think that Jerry Jones makes the pick. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Cowboys as well. You know, you've got a top running back. It could be a quarterback's best friend. There are some questions about the direction of this team under Brian Schottenheimer. A way that you can simplify that is by getting a top-flight running back. Obviously, there's questions about the depth. I said it's good questions about the depth of the running back position in this draft, especially when it comes to starting caliber running backs. But when you have the top dog and you have Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys on the board ready to take a game-breaking running back to help Dak Prescott and to make the transition as easy as possible for Brian Schottenheimer. I mean, when you have Dak Prescott at quarterback and Ashton Jeanty at running back, you know, the wide receivers, if CeeDee Lamb is there, if there are some questions about that, where he ends up, I think you just simplify everything by taking a guy like Ashton Jeanty and asking questions later.
No qualms from me there. No qualms.
No, not at all.
No, that makes a lot of sense, right? It's a good pick.
Makes plenty of sense. I think that would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Just Brian Schottenheimer scheming up for Ashton Jeanty.
Give him 20.
I don't know if Brian Schottenheimer's scheme is going to be the fun part, but watching Ashton Jeanty run will definitely be a good time.
Would you give him 22?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
No, not after. He's going to have to earn. We're not handing that out like 88 in Dallas.
What number was Zeke when he first came in to the Cowboys?
21.
21. Yeah, you can give him 21.
Give him 21.
Pure disrespect to Zeke.
Yeah, give him 21, or if he wants to be, no, he's not going to be 4.
He could be a single digit. I mean, single digits are back for the skill positions.
Yeah.
2 would be dope.
He would be sick.
That'd be a high selling jersey for sure.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know if it would translate to too many wins for the Cowboys this but we'll see. Yeah. Dak's going to be back, and they're going to roll with what they've got. If nothing else with the Cowboys, they're doubling down on what they have. When you fire your play calling head coach to promote your non-play calling offensive coordinator, to being the play calling head coach. It's a doubling down by Jerry Jones for sure, and that's exactly what this move is doubling down on what you've got, being confident and taking your running back this high.
All right, on to Miami.
I'm up here.
Yeah.
This might shock you guys, this pick, but
give your thought process for the Miami Dolphins real quick.
All right, so obviously, offensive line's a need for Miami. I've seen plenty of mocks with them going Tyler Booker here if he falls and some other routes. I don't think that they go that route here in this scenario. I could see them taking a Josh Simmons if he's here. That would be a good pick. But I will shock you here. I think they go with Tyler Warren, the tight end, and here's why. Johnny Smith. Johnny Smith is going into the final year of his contract. He obviously had a really good year last year. I don't think he would be someone that Miami's going to look to re-sign after this year just because either price or any of the other, sort of factors. He's an aging player. And Tyler Warren, just the way he plays, reminds me so much of a George Kittle type of tight end. And I think if Mike McDaniel is going to be the coach there for the foreseeable future, which I would imagine, he's going to want a guy like Tyler Warren on his football team. You talk about a two-dimensional tight end, can block, very versatile player. And those San Francisco offenses love the two tight end, the 12 personnel sets. And I think that you could run out Johnny Smith and Tyler Warren on the field at the same time. And if they keep Tyreek Hill, really have some matchup nightmares across the board. I think this is a sneakier option than I think people are realizing. I think, honestly, this pick is where a lot of people are going with Tyler Warren. You talk about, with Johnny Smith possibly leaving after this next season, this is a great pick for Miami. I mean, you're talking a slam dunk type of weapon. And once Tyreek Hill, if he's still on the Dolphins this year or after this year he's gone, you can still have a nice nucleus of weapons with Tyler Warren and Waddle still there.
Yeah, I love the pick. I have no problem, even if they want to look at keeping Johnny Smith, which I don't know that they will.
Yeah,
you can use Johnny Smith and Tyler Warren in the same offense. Johnny Smith is definitely a true move tight end, more of a receiving threat, and Tyler Warren, as you said, could be one of the best inline tight ends in football. He has that potential. And so when you've got a guy like that, a guy like Mike McDaniel is going to be able to make it work, right? He's going to find spots to put guys in positions to succeed.
That offense is a 12 personnel offense. They love their two tight ends, and you could put Warren at fullback and really, I mean, you talk about the speed and the weapons there. I mean, Tyler Warren, Johnny Smith, Achane, Waddle, if Tyreek Hill is there, that's a lot. And they can address the interior offensive line or tackle later in the draft. I think this is a nice luxury pick for them.
Yeah.
And, go get one more weapon who will, I would assume, be there for the foreseeable future. And just his versatility, I think, Mike McDaniel is going to scheme up some really good stuff with Tyler Warren. So,
and I like the slot too. I mean, Christian's been texting me constantly about possible trade-ups for Tyler Warren, how teams are going to be looking to, give up some premium picks to move up and take this guy. And precisely for this reason, because you've got a guy with Mike McDaniel, once again, if he sees an offensive weapon that he wants and that he'll be able to find a way to slot him into that offense, he's going to take him. Teams like the Colts, teams like the Broncos, they're going to be looking to move up to get a guy like this and to take, what could be, if not Brock Bowers, a top tight end and a guy worthy of a rare first-round pick in the top half of the first round for a tight end spot. I think I love the pick of taking Tyler Warren before he gets devoured and almost certainly picked by a team like the Colts.
Pat, you were literally, as you were going through that, you were reading my mind, because when you look at the Colts and kind of where things stand right now, your top tight end is Kyle Granson and then Drew Ogletree. And then if you're looking at the Dolphins, who are likely to maybe take Tyler Warren right here, yes, there are bigger. I think if you're the Colts here, you shore up. If Tyler Warren isn't there, you shore up the back end of that defense. You take Jahdae Barron from Texas. You solidify. At least get a playmaker in the secondary for them on what was the weakest part of a weak defense. And I mean, there was no questions about it. But I also had down Tyler Barron I'm sorry. I also had down, Tyler Warren for the Colts as well, because that's a weak. I mean, Kyle Granson's your starting tight end there. So I think there could be a lot that, kind of goes into that pick, maybe a trade up. I like the pick for Miami, but, I think if you're the Colts, Jeanty Barron makes the most sense for where you are the weakest on your team, and that was the secondary that got gashed last year.
Definitely an intriguing part of the draft. I mean, I could see either one of these. I think Miami stands pat at 13, but I could see the Colts moving up, anywhere. It's definitely interesting. Like Colts, obviously get screwed in this scenario, but they might need to trade up anyways to get Tyler Warren. I don't know if he exactly falls at 13, but
I do like.
I like the Jeanty Barron pick a lot. Over Ben Morrison is interesting, but I like Jeanty Barron's game.
And I think if you're the Colts,
you could. Morrison didn't play.
Yeah, that's true. And I also think if you're the Colts, especially if you want to shore up. I mean, there'll be veteran tight ends in free agency that I think you can address it without having to, take a fourth, use the 14th pick to take Tyler Warren, and then we're talking about the weakest part of their weakest unit, and I think Jeanty Barron is the pick for him there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it.
Mm-hmm. I like that pick. At 15 here with Atlanta, I'm really only seeing two options. It's a receiver or an edge. I think their big trade this year obviously was for Matt Judon. That didn't really work out. It's tough to choose right now between Shamar, Mike Green, maybe Scorton, but I'm also a huge fan of somebody else, but I'll save him. I'm going to go Shamar Stewart here. You look at the size that he has. He's seems like he's going to be a real versatile guy, 6'6", 290, only 21 years old. You could play him at nose tackle. You could play him at D end. Him and Grady Jarrett make for a competitive front up there. If you want to put him at outside linebacker, you might be able to as well. But I think you just got to get an edge rush or someone that'll hit. I think Shamar is probably the best edge guy here, just off the physical tools. Although I am a fan of Mike Green, I just have some concerns about his size. To me, Shamar would be a good solid pick here. Couldn't go wrong there.
Yeah, and I think he's versatile, as you said, with where you can play him. I'd love to think. I'm always thinking about how you can generate interior pressure for your defense and how much of a tool that can be. And with a guy like Shamar Stewart, he can obviously play at the edge, but you could slide him in to give some fits to some interior offensive linemen as well. And it feels like we've been saying this for so long now about the Falcons not solidifying that defensive front, not having these game-breaking defensive players that you need. And I think Shamar Stewart's a very safe pick and a pick that affords you a lot of flexibility along the defensive line, depending on what you want to do. And we know that Raheem Morris is gonna have quite a few ideas. I think this is definitely the draft after the surprise of last year, taking Michael Penix. I think this is the draft where you go with conventional wisdom and you solidify that defensive front.
Sure.
And so with that, we can move on to my next pick, and I think this works out beautifully for the Arizona Cardinals because they do need offensive line help. They absolutely do, and I think this sets up perfectly for them to take a guy like Josh Simmons, somebody who was playing his way into arguably before he was injured, maybe the top true left tackle prospect of the draft. And when you already have a guy like Paris Johnson Jr., who could play theoretically left tackle, or if you want to move him to right tackle, being able to solidify both ends of that offensive line is going to be huge for the future of this team. Depending on if it's Kyler Murray, if they go with a different direction at quarterback, you're going to need both of those offensive tackle spots solidified. And I think Josh Simmons is a perfectly safe pick. and I think he'll be a solid left tackle provided he can stay healthy. Saw nothing but improvement from him throughout his time at Ohio State.
Good pick. Good pick.
Yeah, good pick. That's where I was going to go that route as well. If that were me, I like Josh Simmons a lot there. Again, you mentioned it, pure tackle prospects, add talent there. That's a nice pick for Arizona.
And I'll tell you, Pat, I'm the Seattle Seahawks coming up in 2 picks. Josh Simmons was going to be my pick for him because I mean interior offensive line is
undercutting Mike on
they
every
have their biggest
Yeah, we are undercutting Mike. Mike's going to the draft board. There's draft boards. The draft rooms and pay.
I'm falling.
Mike wants to be making trades. Mike wants to be making trades. He wants to trade up, trade back, just to get his guys.
But all right, for Cincy, I'm up, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna going strange here. Back-to-back tight ends. This is where Colston Loveland goes in my eyes.
Wow.
Okay.
And here's why. Again, it's pretty similar to Warren, maybe a little bit of a thicker body, but Mike Gesicki right now is really Mike Gesicki, Drew Sample is the 2 tight ends there. Eric All, I saw a note yesterday, he's probably going to be out for the rest of the season next year. And obviously, I think right now is trending towards T. Higgins coming back. We might get some more info on that, leading up into the draft, and that might affect the pick here. I would probably pick Egbuka if T. Higgins is indeed probably not coming back. But in any case, right now, look, tight end's a position of need for Cincy, and I love Loveland's game. I mean, he accounted for over 30% of their receiving yards in Michigan this season. He is a dog up there with Warren when it comes to the tight end position, and I think he would look great in this offense. And even if T. Higgins doesn't come back, he was supposed to go to the Chargers. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
It makes way too much sense for him to go to the Chargers.
It makes way too much sense. Hey, Chargers might have to trade up again here. Tight end, a little bit of a run on tight ends. I'm predicting.
Yeah.
But I love the fit here for Cincy and Colston Loveland.
Yeah.
But again, it kind of is dependent on the T. Higgins stuff. Like I could see Egbuka going here if T. Higgins is gone, but and they need some help on defense too. So I wouldn't hate to see any of the edge rushers go, or maybe Ben Morrison. I mean, they were starting Josh Newton at corner towards the end of the year last year. TCU legend Josh Newton, but in any case, I think Colston Loveland is my default here, and then maybe they go with a guy like Ben Morrison if they want to feel the need at corner. But right now, I feel Colston Loveland's a pick.
Sure. All right, Mike.
Pat, can you scroll up so I can see the board right now? Just kind of just who's been taken.
Oh yeah. So.
Okay, so Seattle obviously needs.
He was getting ready to pick Abdul Carter.
No,
he's trying to trade up for Abdul Carter.
Yeah. People are gonna be trying to trade up. I'm actually kind of torn here between Memblu and Kelvin Banks for Texas. I think best player available, obviously, I think would be Banks, but it's Ryan Grubb is gone. What they need is to shore up the interior offensive line. There were questions with the run game. You have talent back there, and I think give me Kelvin Banks just because.
Do you think he's going to play tackle or guard?
No, give me Kelvin Banks at tackle. The guy only allowed 1 sack on the season, 2 quarterback hits. I protecting. I mean, if you're going to be rolling out there with Geno Smith again, when the guy has time, he can make a play. We've seen when he's pressured, it's not going to happen. And see, look at that. They're the top 2. I mean, I'm completely torn. It's depending on what philosophy they want to go with. My heart tells me go with Memblu, but I feel like they'll go with Kevin Banks. But give me Memblu on this one.
Like that.
I think it's,
I've seen him flying up draft boards, and
I
a lot of it I think is he's versatile. You can play him a tackle or guard, and
I think you're also going to see, with Ryan Grubb gone, I think you might see a pivot back to a run-heavy offense in Seattle. Not the gunslinging. Let's let Geno Smith throw it 40 times. Let's get these big dudes running forward, and he fits that mold for them. It's right up there, and I think with the personnel moves that they made and how it's going to play out, it's still Mike McDonald's team. I like Membu there for him.
I was thinking about Membu at 10 or 11, to be honest with you. But
yeah,
I love the pick.
Yeah, if you want to do what. Sure, go ahead.
I was going to say the Clint Kubiak offense is similar, obviously, to the Mike McDaniels, the former Bobby Sloak. It's the Shanahan system. You need road graders at either interior offensive line or tackle, guys that can run block. And I think Membu's that type of player. So if he's there at 18, I like it a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say I think they're going to lean into their running game with Walker, Charbonnet. To do what Mike McDaniel really wants to do as a head coach is going to be play complementary football, run the ball. I think Kubiak is a good fit scheme-wise to complement that, what he's going to want to do. But I think certainly you won't be seeing Geno Smith set any passing yard leaderboards this season. I think they're going to be leaning into that run game. And so I think
absolutely
that offensive line is a great pick there for Seattle.
Yeah, right tackle and right guard were the two bad spots for Seattle this year.
And I think it plays into perfectly, emphasizing they don't want Geno Smith throwing the ball 30, 35 times a game. Sure. It's a team that has historically leaned on the run. I think they go back to that, especially with this pick, and emphasizes that kind of play call.
Absolutely. Yeah. So far so good with this draft, I'd say. Everything looks like it could happen, to be honest with you.
It's a clean draft right now.
Clean draft.
And
Shiloh at 19.
Yeah.
Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, I was maybe gonna take someone here that might have been shocking, but to me, with these guys on the board, it looks like Burden's gonna be the first real guy to drop here. I'm gonna go Emeka Egbuka.
Ooh, wow!
That was gonna be my pick right after.
That's your pick, okay.
That was gonna be my pick at 20.
The size of Emeka, he's extremely smart. He's played for, it feels like 5 years, right, at Ohio State.
Yeah,
he played for so long. If you watched McAfee today, you saw, or yesterday, I believe, you saw a clip of him basically calling the Jeremiah Smith play before it happened and alerting Will Howard to what the corner was doing all game. So he's an incredibly intelligent player. I think anyone picking at 19 or later would love to have him. With Tampa Bay, I had some questions if maybe they were going to go DB or edge here. Another guy who's really dropping is Jalen Walker. I thought about Jalen Walker as well. But I think the chance that you're going to lose Chris Godwin, I think is too great here, that you have to figure out, okay, who's going to be next once Mike Evans is gone. And you saw a big drop off, in my opinion, from when they had Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. And I think Emeka Egbuka, he would contribute right away, intelligent. Baker would trust him. And it's really, between Emeka and Colton Loveland, I think they're right there neck and neck for the same caliber of player. It's just what you want. But, I'm going to go with Emeka here.
Yeah, I think Emeka he's a former 5-star recruit, so I think he's going to check a lot of the athletic boxes too. That I think people maybe write him off just because he's playing with Jeremiah Smith. That Emeka Egbuka is more of a possession type of receiver. Honestly, he kind of reminds me a lot of Chris Olave, to be honest. Just in their smoothness in the way that they operate, the way he runs routes. Again, you mentioned how intelligent he is, but he's a former 5-star recruit. I think he's going to have a very strong combine, and he's got very reliable hands. I mean, he checks a lot of the boxes here. I think it's a great pick.
And Christian,
Tampa. When you walk out there with Jalen McMillan, Igbukah, and Mike Evans next year, you're not skipping a beat. So
no, you're absolutely not. No, Christian, I think you made a great point with the question marks that are kind of surrounding what that is going to look like for them on the offensive side of the ball. Were you at all thinking defense for them?
I was,
like a guy like Jalen Walker.
Jalen Walker was a big one for me.
Yeah,
I like him a lot. It's just 6'2", 245. He's going to be off-ball linebacker, I think.
Yeah.
I know Shaq Barrett and Levante David are, who knows with their futures, but I just think with what Baker did so well this season, it just made a lot of sense to me to just make sure that's going to still be a strength of the Tampa Bay Bucks. And like Pat pretty much mentioned it at the beginning of the year, it's what are the 3 guaranteed in life? It's death, taxes, and Todd Bowles' defense, something like that.
Todd Bowles having a solid defense is going to happen.
So I trust Todd Bowles with whoever he's got back there. That's why I got to go with Igbukah here.
Man. Death, taxes, and Todd Bowles having a great defense, and Sean Payton wanting to take Ohio State wide receivers, which is why I was so confident about Igbukah going to the Denver Broncos. But I think that they will not they won't scoff at the consolation prize. I think Luther Burden falling this far for them just makes too much sense. When you talk about giving Bo Nix that reliable target, I think that Luther Burden kind of got slept on a little bit this season, unfortunately, with the way that Brady Cook regressed. And so I think seeing Luther Burden on the board there, and especially after seeing Igbukah go off the board and knowing the drop-off after those 2 prospects in terms of where the wide receiver class goes after that, I think the Broncos go ahead and take Burden, and they won't be complaining about it because he's obviously a great talent at wide receiver, and I think that he'll be a reliable target for a guy like Bo Nix for years to come. They'll be able to grow while they're both in their rookie contracts.
Yeah, I really like the fit with Luther Burden just because I think he's got elite yak ability, and I don't feel like Denver really has a guy like that in their offense right now. Obviously, Cortland Sutton's a nice, reliable target, but he's not a yak guy. Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin, for the most part, what we saw this year was more of stretch the field guys. I really think they're missing a guy, that they could use after the catch, and Sean Payton can really scheme guys like that open. So I like the fit with Luther Burden.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, he's coming out of high school. He's wasn't he a 5-star top recruit? I mean, the man.
Yeah.
A lot of teams, a lot of other schools wanted him, and he went to Mizzou. He could have left and got a bag somewhere, stayed with Mizzou. So I like him a lot. If he fell to 20, I mean, that's such a great pick. I mean, can't go wrong there.
Yeah. All right. So wait, am I up now?